Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a huge shift in how our digital world gets managed. We're talking about a move away from typing endless lines of code to, well, simply stating a goal. This is all about a technology that's making our networks smarter, faster, and a whole lot more secure. So let's start with a question, right? A big one that really gets to the heart of this whole transformation. Just imagine, what if you could describe a business goal to your network? Not in code, but in plain language, and the network itself just figures out how to make it happen. That's the core idea behind what we call intent-based networking. Okay, so to really get why this new way is such a big deal, we have to talk about the old way first. You know, the world of manual commands that's been around for, well, pretty much forever in networking terms.
For like decades, managing a network has been this incredibly painstaking manual job. I mean, you've got these highly skilled engineers who have to configure every single device, every router, every switch by literally typing out thousands of super specific, complex commands. This is what's known as an imperative approach, where you have to tell the system exactly how to do every single little thing.
And, well, this is what you get. That manual way of doing things, it is so brittle. It's like a house of cards, seriously. The data shows that most network outages, they're not from some crazy cyber attack. Nope, they're from simple human error, a typo. And on top of being prone to errors, it's just slow. It can't keep up with the scale of our modern world.
All right, so that's the problem. And that's where this breakthrough comes in. Intent-based networking, it just completely flips that old model on its head. We're talking about a fundamental shift from telling the network how to do something to just telling it what you want to get done.
And this right here, this shows that shift perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way. That's the imperative model. It's this messy, tangled web of step-by-step instructions. But on the right, you have the new declarative model, just a straight, clear path to your goal. I love this analogy. It's the difference between giving a taxi driver every single turn-by-turn direction versus just telling them where you want to go. Okay, so what is this thing officially? Intent-based networking, or IBN for short. Well, you can think of it as an intelligent system. You tell it your business goal, that's your intent, and then the software, it uses all this automation and analytics to translate that goal into the perfect network setup. It figures out the how, so you don't have to. I know, it kind of sounds like magic, right? But how does a system like this actually take a big picture goal and turn it into all those tiny little network commands? Let's break down how that automation actually works. So it's this continuous loop. It never really stops. First, you translate your business goal into the system. You just describe what you want. Second, the IBN platform automates it. It creates and pushes out all the detailed configurations to all the right devices. And third, and this part is absolutely key, it provides assurance. It is constantly monitoring the network to make sure it's still doing what you asked it to do. And if it's not, it corrects itself.
Okay, let's make this real with an example. Let's say you need a secure connection, a tunnel between two different networks. Now, in the old days, an engineer would have to get their hands dirty, manually setting up routes, access lists, all the encryption stuff on a bunch of different devices. With IBN, the operator just states the intent. They just say, hey, create a secure tunnel between network A and network B, and boom, the system just handles all that messy complexity for you.
All right. So we've talked about what this is and how it works, but let's get to the good part, right? What's the big payoff? Why does this shift actually matter for businesses? Well, the biggest, most dramatic impact is just raw speed. I mean, look at this. A network service that used to take days, sometimes even weeks of manual labor to set up and test, can now be rolled out in minutes. For any business, that kind of agility is, well, it's an absolute game changer. But hang on, it is not just about going faster. By automating all these complex tasks, IBN slashes the risk of those expensive human errors we talked about. It makes sure your security policies are applied the same way everywhere all the time. And maybe the most important thing, it frees up your super skilled IT people from doing all that tedious grunt work so they can focus on the big stuff, innovating and thinking about the future of the business. So all of this, it brings us to the future. Let's talk about where this is all going and how it's basically set to redefine what connectivity even means. Yeah, and make no mistake, this isn't just some small, incremental step forward. I mean, just look at this quote from Cisco's CEO. The leaders in this industry see intent-based networking as a truly foundational technology. They're calling it the new standard for the next 30 years of networking. And you can totally see why, right? Just think about the sheer complexity of a smart city, trying to manage traffic in real time. Or picture a hospital network that has to prioritize life-saving data over everything else instantly. These kinds of systems, they need a network that can adapt, that can learn, that can even heal itself. And intent-based networking, well, that's the smart, automated backbone that actually makes it all possible.
So, why does all this matter? Well, it's the essential bridge to a truly AI-driven future. Simple, really. AI needs a common language and that single source of truth to reason about. Look at this evolution. You can't just jump to AI-driven. Intent-based networking is the critical foundation.
The future is AI agents acting as digital coworkers, autonomously fixing problems before you even know they exist.
But this doesn't mean the end of the engineer. Not at all. It's about a total role transition. The focus shifts from typing commands to high-level orchestration, systems design, and strategic thinking.
And so this all leaves us with one final big question to think about. As our technology moves from being driven by commands to being driven by intent, it's not just the networks that have to change. The real question is, how will our organizations, how will we adapt to a world where we can just focus on our goals and trust the systems to figure out the rest? Because that right there is the future intent-based networking is building.